Welcome to Brighter Shores Central, your one-stop shop for all Brighter Shores news, this upcoming MMORPG that is launching very soon. We've got some more information about professions in Brighter Shores and profession capes. We're going to go through what these skills might be and also how you obtain these capes as well. And we're going to go through other bits of information in this video, so fun-packed video here today about this upcoming MMO. I hope you're all looking forward to the game as much as I am. I am excited about the game, and I think it's going to be really good. I think there's a lot of good things about the game. Some concerns, which I might go into in this video, but we'll go through the news first. So first of all, we've got the release of these profession capes that you can see on screen now. Now, just to lay out the information here, first of all, you can see on the left where it says Journeyman, Adept, Expert, and Completed. Now, these are the tiers of the capes. So as you level up your skills, your cape will get longer and add more design to it, and that is what it is. It's a dynamic cape. So instead of actually getting, say, level 99 in a skill, and of course getting your skill cape, and I've got like 18 of those so far or something like that. So you don't just do that, it actually levels up as you go along, and I think that's a very interesting way of doing it because it's quite dynamic. It also makes it interesting that you want to complete your cape or get to the next step of the completion of your dynamic profession cape, essentially. Now, so that's very interesting. Also, these are episode 3 and episode 4 capes, but let's get into the design now. So first of all, we've got Mind Fighter. So Mind Fighter has got a cape there where at the start near the Journeyman, it's got a lizard on it, which is very, very interesting. So these are going to be the lower level monsters, I assume, that you've got to kill. So lizard type mobs in the mines. I would assume the mine of Manchubin, which is going to be one of the areas where you do a lot of mining. So that is going to be creatures that you can kill in terms of mine-based creatures, I guess. So things like lizards, cave lizards, etc. in the mines. Now, you've then got Adept, which has got like what seems to be sort of bats or something there. And then, of course, when you get to Expert, you've got some kind of poisonous insects. And then Completed, you actually have this kind of glowing crab. So could that be a possible boss? We do not know that. We do not know whether this is going to be a boss or whether it is just the case of the glowing mobs are an indicator to say that, look, these are going to be some of the strongest mobs in the cave. So when you go into the mine of Manchubin or you go into any of the mining zones in the game, anything that's glowing, you know, you better be prepared for. And that's very interesting to know because on this game, it's noted that you cannot run away from a fight straight away. So when you get locked into combat with a mob, you can't run away for a certain amount of time. So you have to be very careful on which mobs you want to interact with and engage with and attempt to kill, because you can't just run away straight away, essentially. So I think that that's going to be interesting. We've also got something called the sense skill, the sense ability, where basically it flashes and you can see the level of mobs, the type of resources that are in a particular area. Now, that could be paired well with the Mind Fighter skill, in my opinion, because you'll be able to see, okay, there's glowing mobs there. They're probably going to be higher level. You know, maybe I need to figure out what level they are or what, you know, what the details about them are using this sort of sense spell. And that might be an interesting point there where it works well together. But the point is that the stuff that's glowing is probably going to be not necessarily boss type monsters, but maybe, you know, the step down from that, shall we say, like little mini bosses, shall we say. And so the Mind Fighter, very interesting. I'm going to talk about what I think that skill involves in a moment, but let's move on to the next one. We've then got Blacksmithing, which is very similar to the Infernal Cape. I mean, not very similar, but you see it's got like that kind of design to it. It's got kind of very Infernal Cape looking, but it also makes sense because, of course, to make blacksmithing items, this is the sort of style that it would go through. So to begin with, at the Journeyman, you've got like a fork and a hammer, essentially. Then you've got the anvil, and then Adept, you've got the sword. So a varying degree of swords of different sizes. So you got more dagger type stuff, longsword type stuff. Then you got expert in terms of some axes that you can make. I don't know whether these are axes that you can throw or whether these are axes that, you know, you just use. And then the completed ones has some kind of spear items. Now, I could see the spears being incredibly useful. So, for example, if you can't run away from a mob straight away, maybe they're going to interact in a way where you can kind of test out the mob, but because you're further back, because you've got a spear, maybe there's something there, I don't know. But that's just theory crafting. But the blacksmithing cape looks very cool. I really like the design of that. But then moving on, we've got something called the watch person cape. Now, interestingly, this kind of doesn't have a split design. It just has a dragon going through it. So I assume that you unlock the dragon as you go along. So first off, if you're a journeyman, you're only going to unlock the tail of the dragon, adept, and then so on and so forth until it's completed its full design into the full cape. And watch person seems interesting. I don't know what that's going to be about, but we'll talk about that in a moment. I've got an idea. So the next one is merchant as well. So you can see here varying degrees of items like, you know, watches, jewelry, fruit, etc. Market stall at the top there. So this is a very interesting skill to me. I'm interested to see how this one's going to work. But essentially, profession is going to be merchant. You're going to be able to do stuff to do with that. Now, let's go through all of these skills and professions and what they might actually entail. Now, first of all, the mine fighter, I think it says it does what it says on the tin, right? I think you're going to be able to mine with this skill, but then also you have to fight off mobs. So maybe what it is, for you to actually mine a particular area or mine a particular rare rock or resource, you've actually got to clear out the monsters first before you do that. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to mine. So you're going to have to sort of like clear out the room before you then continue to mine the resources that you want. And I think that this could be quite interesting, and especially as you get up to higher levels in this skill, it might require like a lot of skillful activities as to how to actually defeat the mobs, but at the same time be able to mine the resources as well. And so I would say that hopefully that, of course, the mobs that you kill drop items alongside you getting the ores, so then you're getting 2 levels of resources there. Otherwise, if the mobs don't drop much and you only get the ores, you hope that the ores are going to be very, very useful to make up for that, because it's going to take a lot of supplies in terms of food or potions or whatever to actually obtain those ores and clear the room. So we have to see how they balance that. But I think that could be interesting. The mine fighter, maybe that this is a location-specific profession where you can only train it in caves. Then you've also got the blacksmithing, as in sense that, of course, you can make items. I won't go into that because that's very obvious. Then you've got watch person. So I think this is some kind of night skill. So, for example, you've got Hopeport and Hopeport Forest. Maybe it is that you're a sort of guard and you've got to protect the area. So whereas in Mine Fighter, you're in a cave and fighting potentially. As a watch person, maybe you're trying to defend a city in some way or shape or form, doing certain activities. Again, this is theory crafting, but I think that makes sense. It's some kind of night or because it's called the Watch Guard or something. Hopeforest Watch Guard or something, right? So watch person makes me think that you're going to be some kind of guard. So, and then you've got merchant. Now, I'm interested to see how they actually implement this skill. Is it the merchant, the profession, actually dynamically trained with other players, or do you have your own stalls, so your own market stalls where you put your own goods on there, sell them, and that's how you level up your skill? Is it that you have to transport one piece of goods to another area, and then that's how you collect the skill? Is it like a weird version of farming on Runescape, right? So farming, you attend to your patches, right? You grow the seeds. What is it if you have to go collect your items at a market stall, right? And then basically collect the profit, set your prices, and it's basically a collection system where you've got to maintain your stalls like you would in farming, you maintain the patches, right? But it's just another variation of that, and that's how you train it. Or it could be a combination of all these elements in terms of how you actually train your merchant skill. But as we can see, there's a variety of different cape designs there. Now, which one do I like the most? I think out of all 4 of these, I really like the blacksmithing one because it's got that infernal type vibe to it. And I also like the merchant one because I'm interested to see how this skill works. And I do like the design. It's quite dynamic on that. So to note as well, the first episode on release, it's going to be Chef and Fisher. So you're going to be able to train those skills to begin with, and later on in the game cycle, they're going to release the other episodes and you're going to be able to train these professions. So episode 3 and 4 that these capes are in, you won't be able to train them straight away, but you know, you'll have that to look forward to as well. And also some recent news as well. So Andrew Gower responded to somebody tweeting this post. So they put, "I noticed that the Steam page has been updated with information regarding early access. Does this paragraph refer to the premium pass, or have plans changed since the interview with the Games Radar?" And what they've done is that they've updated the model where you have decided to offer both, so people can choose. So what does that mean? So essentially there's going to be the option to buy the episodes, or you'll be able to get a monthly subscription and just have a reoccurring payment. So that's also going to be an option. Now, it's also noted that the release date is now set at November 5th as the set release date for the game. So that's just around about a month and a half away. So we are not long from the game. And also, there might be some sort of open beta before the game's release. So if that's the case, then that will be coming obviously before November 5th. So that could be within the next number of weeks. Who knows? But we're going to leave you with this video that showcases the recent footage of the November 5th release. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'll see everybody later.